DELCORA is the Delaware County Regional Water Quality Control Authority. We were formed in 1971, and since that time, we've been providing quality wastewater collection, conveyance, and treatment for 42 municipalities in Delaware County. Really, the genesis behind the merger is the oncoming, as we've referred to, tidal wave, and it really is, because it's such a massive effect of a combination of reinvestment into our capital program because of the age of our facilities, having the majority of them being built during the mid-70s. On top of that are a number of unfunded regulatory mandates that are affecting Delaware County in two ways. One is the long-term control plan for the city of Chester and those entities that are connected to Western Regional Treatment Plant. Then the other one is the long-term control plan for the Philadelphia Water Department, and Eastern Delaware County is currently connected to Philadelphia Water Department's Southwest Water Pollution Control Facility, so therefore we have to share in the cost of their program also. Added on to that is we do know that Delaware River Basin Commission has been working on nutrient reduction and focusing on that, and expect that the Delaware River Basin will get that type of mandate probably within the next 5 to 10 years. And that will also be a large capital investment required to upgrade our facilities to meet those requirements. First of all, this decision wasn't taken lightly, in that going back to 2015, when DELCORA had a consent decree entered upon it from EPA, Department of Justice, and DEP, we at that time knew that some of these costs were coming. We already knew about Philadelphia's portion of the cost. We started meeting with the major municipal authorities that provide a lot of the flow to DELCORA and talking to them about what was going on, what our possible alternatives were. Those meetings started in 2015. Then when it just became very apparent, based on the escalating costs of the Philadelphia long-term control plan along with our long-term control plan, that we would not be able to sustain on our own. That was again the beginning for the idea behind the Aqua partnership or merger. The most important thing is we have a lot of the same customers. So Aqua has a large customer base here in Delaware County. In fact, the company was founded in Springfield, Delaware County. Additionally, by partnering with Aqua, we can tap into the Act 11 stabilization of rates, which allows the spreading out of the rate base over a larger amount of customers. The other part was that Aqua had the same goals as far as retaining all of our staff. This was very key. And the last piece is, and most important, we could protect the ratepayers as best as possible against this wave by moving forward with Aqua. They give us a partner who can execute large-scale projects. They can do that effectively, and we felt that it was very important to have that, as a partner. Basically, DELCORA had a long-term control plan in 1999, which was approved by DEP and EPA. It was implemented through our permit, our National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System permit, and we were fine for a number of years. During the Obama administration in the early 2000s, the Clean Water Act was updated to address discharges from combined sewer overflows. Combined sewers are where sanitary sewage, which is typically the wastewater coming from homes, businesses, and industries, it's combined with stormwater. In other words, the pipes are shared. The city of Chester, we have that system. And so every time it rains, the flow here goes up dramatically until all the pipes are filled. Once the pipes are filled, there are regulators. There's approximately 25 regulators on the Delaware River, Ridley Creek, and Chester Creek together. Those 25, they start discharging depending on the duration and frequency of rain. This update of the Clean Water Act addressed the combined sewer overflows. Also, Philadelphia has the same exact system. And as I explained earlier, since Eastern Delaware County flows to Philadelphia's system, Western Delaware County flows to our system, we literally were looking at two long-term control plans that we would have to, one is our long-term control plan, the other being Philadelphia's, which we must contribute to as part of our contract. So the big issue there was, when we signed the contract with Philadelphia in 2013, which was an update of the original contract from the 70s, we were told by the city of Philadelphia they expected Delaware County's share of those costs to be $178 million. We were informed of that late 2012, signed the agreement April 2013. In December of 2017, we received notification from the Water Department that $178 million was now expected to be $605 million. Well, at the time of the 178, we had done our due diligence by looking at what are DELCORA's alternatives. DELCORA's alternatives build another treatment plant or add on to the existing treatment plant here in Chester to accept those flows that are going to Philadelphia. We determined those costs, or our engineers, consultants determined those costs would be $350 to $400 million. So when weighing $178 million versus $350 to $400 million, well, it was a no-brainer to sign the contract in 2013. Philadelphia's long-term control plan did not go as well as expected. That's not that unusual, and I'm certainly not knocking what Philadelphia's doing. They're trying their best effort to address this problem. And so basically, as they realized that they would have to expand their program, add 5 more years in length to their program, that's how we got to the point it escalated to $605 million. When we got that notification, we diligently went back to the table and said, let's get and look at what we can do. And is it possible that we can do that for less, get out of Philadelphia again? So we came up with revised numbers in the $450 to $500 million range. And a bigger thing is we know that that's what it's going to cost, and we will control, Delaware County controls Delaware County's destiny instead of being mandated by Philadelphia. And that because we don't know what's going to happen on the back end still to this long-term control plan, because the plan goes out to like 2042. So the rest of the part of that $700 million, so our long-term control plan had to be updated just like Philadelphia's. When we started looking at that process, we went back and forth with the EPA regarding affordability, specifically because, Chester residents have a low medium household income, and there's other residents of Delaware County along with that, but they were the core group that would pick up the costs for the DELCORA long-term control plan. And so because our insistence on they couldn't afford it, we ended up with a consent decree, because we had basically gone back and forth over the course of about 3-4 years with EPA to the point that they weren't happy with the progression of the negotiations. A consent decree, really, it's not a negotiation, it's more a dictation. And while we understand, the regulations and understand that they have goals, our biggest issue is, one, we have a long-term control plan that was approved, and two, there's no money available to address these mandates. And when I back up off of that, I say that because this DELCORA system, along with the majority of systems built in this country in the 70s and 80s as a result of the original Clean Water Act, were funded 80, 90% by the federal government. That's gone. There's no money like that now. So, that's why we push hard on the economics. It results by going back to the table and addressing what EPA wanted to address. We thought that perhaps, we might be spending 20 to 40 million. Now we're going to be looking at $100 million. That's the plan that we've submitted. We're waiting for EPA to approve. So on the Philadelphia side, I had mentioned that our contribution was $605 million, and we thought we could get out for $450 to $500 million. So that goes into the $700 million. And the last piece on environmental mandates, again, I think I already referred to the nutrient issue in the Delaware River Basin, and the Susquehanna River Basin is way ahead of Delaware River on that, and we've seen that already implemented there, so this is not like some novel approach. We expect that to be a $100 million effort in the next 5 to 10 years. So again, that wraps up the $700 million. The key principles were a lot of the things I mentioned earlier about what we have in common, and that's the ratepayers and wanting to do what's best for the ratepayers. Also the fact that, our partner Aqua, they have a tremendous large base of customers in Delaware County, so we have a lot of the same customers. Securing the jobs for the people at DELCORA, the men and women who actually do all the work and make sure every day that we're protecting the public's health. I believe, I could quote something here, but, the economy of scale and technical expertise and longstanding commitment to Pennsylvania, particularly Southeast Pennsylvania by Aqua, was a big driver for this. There's just no doubt about it. So that's what we sought in a partner. I don't know. I have not heard a plan. And I guess I'd say that DELCORA is a very complex organization with some, as I stated earlier, in some way, shape, or form, we either collect, convey, or treat wastewater flow from businesses and industries and homes in 42 municipalities in Delaware County and in Chester County also. And when you look at the complexity of DELCORA's operation, the hundreds of existing agreements and contracts that we have, the capital needs that are laid out before us, and those capital needs require a consistent long-term plan, meaning that we can't just flip the page one day and something different, because these things take time out over years. As example, to get out of Philadelphia, our goal is the contract ends April 2028. Our goal is to get out prior to that contract. We've talked to Philly about it. No issues there. But literally, it will take us all that time, if we stay on course now, to get out of Philadelphia. And the backside of this is, if Philadelphia will have us stay, that's not an issue. But just if we stay one extra year, it's $26 million extra that we're going to pay towards their plan, which is basically, sinking money into something you're not going to get any value out of. Because the plan that Philadelphia has, and similar to ours, it's going to be more backloaded, because as you design all the stuff, then you start building it, and it's when you start building it that the real big costs come. So, to circle back to the question regarding the county, I have no clue about a plan. I haven't heard anything. And knowing that, for over 40 years, Delaware County has not contributed any money to DELCORA. DELCORA's operated independently of the county. I just find it hard to believe that you could do something of this immense nature without a plan. I think I've answered it a couple different ways. And I know people keep circling back to Aqua, and I get that. But, frankly, the execution of large-scale projects, they have more experience in that. The access to Act 11, being able to have costs spread out over a larger base of customers, that's a big thing. The Delaware County footprint, Aqua has a large Delaware County footprint, has a Springfield, Delaware County headquarters, was formed in Delaware County. And frankly, their expertise is something we desire. We believe that the two teams together can do what's best, and that's address the issues in front of us, protect the health and environment of the residents and businesses, industries of Delaware County, and do it at the most cost-effective rates. That's what we truly believe in. And we've had financial experts that looked over Aqua's numbers, looked over our numbers, and these financial experts, PFM, they are well known in the municipal and utility sector. We feel very confident that this is what's best for the ratepayers of Delaware County, because there's no moving the $1.2 million in total capital costs that we have out over approximately the next 20 to 25 years. The APA, Asset Purchase Agreement, was executed, approved by the board, and executed back in September 2019. I believe the date is first week of March, I think March 3rd, but in the first week of March, the application for the asset purchase was filed with the Pennsylvania Public Utilities Commission. Now that process will follow out for the next, probably the remainder of this year. Normally, the process would maybe a little shorter, but COVID-19, just like it's affected everything, is affecting the progress there. However, right now, the expectation is that the PUC process would result in an approval by January of 2021. I want to make mention that the Public Utility Commission process is a very public process. It's meant to be, they are not representing anybody but one group, and that's the ratepayers. They are looking for protecting the ratepayers as best as possible. So there will be plenty of opportunities for public input from entities, individuals. They will provide opportunity either in person, telephonically, by video. So I just want to make sure there'll be a lot of notices. There'll be letters coming out to each and every Aqua and DELCORA customer, telling them about what the proposed rates will be with this merger, talking about the merger itself, and also giving information about how you can become part of the process if you would like to. Please go to our website, delcora.org, and /Aqua-merger. But there'll be a tab on our website, delcora.org.